Hello, so welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're new here, I am Phoebe, and in today's video I'll be teaching you how you can make this bridal or Asoebi Handfan. Guys, I'm not feeling too well. I caught the flu, so my voice might be a little bit deep as this video progresses. So before making this video, I wanted to show you guys the tools you would need. So you would need a liquid glue. So I think that was an Uhu 1100, or you need your glue gun. For this video, I'll be using my glue gun because the gum dries faster. So I'll also use my black bias, and you also need plastic boning and masking tape or paper tape. Then you need your plain fabric of choice, and then you need your lace fabric of choice. And then I have this shiny tool or net. So if you have a plain net, that's fine, but I'll be using that. Then you also need trimmings of choice. So I have two here, but I'll be using the silver trimmings. And finally, you need your needle and thread so that you can sew some points together. To begin, I will be cutting out my boning. So this is a plastic boning, not the regular boning, okay? So I measured 20 inches and I cut that out. So the boning will serve as the structure. But I think some people use, what's it called? Fascinator. I don't know, fascinator something. But I use the boning and then I place them together. I overlap them by half an inch, and then I used my paper tape to hold that point in place. So I'm done with the first one. I'll go ahead and repeat the same process for the second one. So I cut out 20 inches and then I would overlap them by half an inch and use my tape to hold them in place. I know you might be thinking or wondering, why am I not resting if I'm not feeling too well? My YouTube channel has rested for more than 2 years, and coming back, the algorithm has been dealing with me. If you check my past videos, my views haven't been so great. So here I am trying to create content and upload here so that YouTube can see my efforts and push back my videos into the perfect spot. So I'm done creating 3 rings, so you can create 4 if you want. So after that, the next thing you would need is your bias tape. So I'll use the bias tape to wrap the rings. So I'm done with the first one. So I'm just going to repeat what I did for the second one. So I applied my glue at that point there, then used my bias tape and wrap that point, and I just continued wrapping the bias tape around the ring until I go to the other side. So I just want to use this opportunity to plead with you guys to engage on my videos. Your likes, your comments, and also your shares would mean a lot to me, as this would help the algorithm continue to push my videos out there. So at this point I was done, and I used my glue to secure the bias tape at this point. So I ended the wrapping just at the point where I started the wrapping. Now the second wrapping is completed. I'll just go ahead and continue the same process for the third one. So all my rings are covered now. The next thing you need to do is that you will need to cover the rings with your tool or your net. So I'm going to open up my net like this and then cover the ring like so. So you need to cover it in a way that you're going to have gathers around the ring. So you're going to pull the gathers and make sure that they concentrate at that point where you joined the boning together. Then you're going to use your thread and tighten that point right there. So it's not like you're going to make it so tight, but you're just going to tighten it so that it's a bit secured at that point there. After wrapping my thread around it, I went ahead to trim off the excess net right there. And to serve as a two-factor authentication, I went back in with my needle to sew that point. So this is totally optional. If you just want to go with wrapping the thread around it, that's fine. But I went back in with my needle and thread to hold the points together in place. And there we have it. The first ring has been covered with the tool. I went ahead to cover the second one, and I'll go ahead and repeat the same for the third one. So all the rings are covered now. For the next step, I just overlapped the 3 rings together like this, and then I'll go ahead and use my hand needle to sew at that point where I made the wrapping. That is that point where I wrap the bias around the ring. That's where I'll be sewing them together. So that place will give the ring more structure and stability. I wouldn't advise that you just sew the two directly, because believe me, the rings are not going to be stable. But when you join them together at that point, it's going to be more stable. So after sewing the first part, I also went ahead to sew the other side. So you're just going to keep repeating this process until you get to the end. So I'm done joining the first and second rings together. I was just checking in to be sure that they are both secured. So I'll go ahead and attach the third ring. The third ring has been attached. Then from this point right here, I measured downwards. So I had 5 inches, and I'll use this 5 inches to create a circle. So you're going to need a carton for this. Alternatively, you can use what shoemakers use in making bags or shoes. So I marked the midpoint right there, and I went ahead to mark that 5 inches round the midpoint to create a circle. Then I went ahead with my ruler to connect the points together. I went back in to even out the lines, and then I divided the circle into two, and after which I just cut out the circle. So this will serve as the base for the hand fan. So I'm going to split the circle into two. So I was trying to bend it together so I can get even points, but it wasn't working out. So I just cut out the excess here, and I proceeded to split it into two like so. So here's how you'll be placing the base over the rings like this. So you're going to place them like this to give you your hand fan. But before then, we need to cover the base. So I have my plain fabric here. So I just placed one of the carton on it, and I went ahead to cut the piece of fabric that I'll be using, making sure to add enough allowances since I'm going to be gumming or gluing them together. So once that is done, I went ahead to apply my glue around the carton like this. I'm using my candle gum because this dries faster, but you can use your liquid gum if that's what you have. So after applying the glue, I just went ahead to fold the fabric over the carton like this. And at this point here, I went ahead to place notches because that area has a curve, so the notches will help the fabric fold easily. So you have to be careful when using your candle gun because it can actually be very hot and very messy. So this actually took a while. Trust me, forget that it's looking so easy and everything is done fast here. It's actually time consuming, so just take your time and ensure that you fold your fabric properly. So I'll go ahead and complete it. After covering up the first one, I'll go ahead and cover up the second one. So they are both covered now. So you're also going to cover this same carton with your lace. So I placed mine on my lace like this. And I went ahead to cut out the lace, making sure to add enough allowance for the folding. So I repeated the same thing for the second one. I'm using a lace that has sequins, so it's quite messy. So after that, the next step is to fold the lace over the carton like this. So I applied my glue and I proceeded to fold in the lace over the carton. So it's just the same process I did when folding the main fabric over the carton. Apply your glue and take your time, fold the lace over the carton. So while doing this, I made sure to pull my lace upwards to remove or eradicate any extra allowance around the carton. After covering the first one, I'll go ahead and cover the second one. So I'm done covering the both of them. Now it's time to place them over the rings like this. So place the base just before the gathered part of the net like so, and place the second one over it like this. So make sure that both sides are equal like this. Then I went ahead to apply my glue at this base here. Then you're going to place the other part on it like this. So you're going to have to apply pressure so that it sticks together properly. So I had to apply pressure like my life depends on it. So take your time, apply pressure so that it sticks properly. Then you're also going to do the same thing at the other end. Apply your glue and use your hand to apply pressure so that it stays in place. So after applying your glue, you can go back and hand sew the base round if you want. But for me, I was fine with just the glue. Now you can go ahead and embellish your hand fan however you want. So I use this silver trimming. So I've had this for close to 4 years now and I get to use it today, finally. Anyways, this is my first video for 2026 and I'm hoping that this video gives me that visibility that I need on this YouTube space. So go ahead and embellish your hand fan however you want. So after I was done embellishing this first side, I also went ahead to embellish the other side. And I also use the trimming to cover up the joining at the base right there. And the hand fan is ready. Oh my god, this fan is so pretty. And funny enough, this is like the first time I am making this hand fan. So this is the final look of the hand fan. If this tutorial has helped you in any way, please leave a comment, like, share, anything to increase engagement in my video. And I'll see you all in my next video. Bye.